Hi, and welcome to Experience Week. We are excited to have you with us today. This presentation is titled The 3 F's of Modern Millennial Marketing by Kearon from BrainJuicer. Before we jump into content, some quick housekeeping items. Feel free to share this event with your colleagues. It's not too late to register. Let others know you are watching by tweeting at Qualtrics with hashtag #ExperienceWeek. And all of today's content is available on demand. Enjoy! The time is now yours, John.
So what I wanted to do today, we're the 3 F's of marketing, yeah? We, as I think many of you listening, if you know BrainJuicer and you know me, you'll know that my obsession, I think it's probably fair to call it, has been behavioral science and trying to translate the breakthroughs, frankly. I mean, they really are breakthroughs in the understanding of how people really make decisions and bringing that into the world of market research techniques and predictive techniques, but also connecting it to the framework of marketing. What makes for, as we would call it, famous 5-star marketing? And I'll put the URL up right at the end, but we try to distill the essence of behavioral science and its implications for marketing into a little booklet, which you can see on the screen. And there are 5 really, really simple things, 4 of which are not brain juicers. I mean, this is just distilling what we know, okay? So, number 1, we think much less than we think, okay? And this is important because, you know, I don't know about everyone listening, but I joined Unilever as a marketing trainee, okay? I did the Unilever University of Marketing. And I was taught, and I still see it being taught everywhere, effectively a left brain, right brain model of marketing, where there's roughly 50-50 rational and emotional, and our job is to persuade people that our product is superior to the competition's and persuade people to buy. As a metaphor, the best metaphor for that model of marketing, I mean, I'm now calling it the 20th century old model of marketing, I guess, is that great marketing is like a fist of a proposition, the USP, wrapped in a velvet glove of emotion. So the emotion is what excites people, it pulls consumers in, and then you can hit them with why your brand is superior to the competition and persuade people to buy. Behavioral science, Daniel Kahneman, System 1 and System 2, is giving us a much, much better, much more accurate idea of how people actually make decisions, because basically, it's not left brain, right brain, 50-50, emotional, rational. What Daniel Kahneman suggests as a framework is to think of the brain as split into System 1, the original human brain has been around about 1 million years, and it is the instinctive, intuitive, emotional brain, yeah? And then System 2, which has probably been around for about 100,000 years, which is the rational, logical, persuasion-based, you know, the engineering, mathematical brain, which is amazing. But it's not 50-50. If you split System 1 and System 2 into computing power, System 2, the rational, heavy-lifting, cognitive, slow thinking in Kahneman's terms, would be about 50 bits of computing power, and System 1, the instinctive, emotional, intuitive, fast-thinking brain, is about 11 million. Let's do that again. 50 bits of cognition, 11 million bits of emotion. This should give us all a clue that the way that people really make decisions is massively System 1, okay? And this changes the model of marketing. And the second point in the book is that those who tell the best stories rule the world. Yeah, human beings are social animals. We love a good story. We need a narrative, you know. We need heroes, villains, etc. And when it comes to marketing, what we know is people are not loyal to one brand and only buy one brand unless they're hardly in the category. The way that all categories are bought, and this is number 3 and 4, is basically you have a repertoire of 3, 4, 5 brands in whatever category you buy often, and then you basically choose all of them at some point in time. And what makes a brand leader a brand leader is they're chosen slightly more often by slightly more people. And secondly, the way you build brands is through new buyers and penetration, not loyalty. Because loyalty exists, but it's fixed. Loyalty, basically, the number one brand has slightly more loyalty than the number two, who has slightly more loyalty than the number three, and that's the way it goes. So you can't really change loyalty without changing your penetration. And the fifth point is Brainjuicer's contribution, and I want to focus on it, if that's all right, because what we've tried to do is create a model which leads directly to long-term profitable brand growth. Okay, so tracking models about. Everyone has, probably, had far too much of them. They're very detailed, and they measure a lot of what I would call system 2. They atomize, they break the brand up. It seems that the only three things that really matter, that really help people choose a brand, are fame, feeling, and fluency. Literally, how quickly the brand comes to mind when you think of the category, fame, how much you feel about the brand, and by the way, any emotion is more commercially valuable to you than neutral. If you feel nothing, you do nothing. Obviously, if it's happiness and joy, that's even better. But any feeling, and that will become relevant with a case study I'm going to share with you a bit later on. And fluency is basically distinctive assets. It's things that make you recognizable. What it is not is differentiation. Okay, this is not about functional superiority. This is basically the white Apple earbuds that instantly make you realize that someone's got an Apple product. There's no functional advantage to the white earbuds. The Coca-Cola bottle shape is about fluency. And the thing about fluency is the more you are recognized, the quicker you're recognized, the quicker people make decisions. And these three F's, the fame, feeling, and fluency, are really all you need to measure in order to explain current market share and predict where it's going to go. So I'm going to show you what I mean. So fame, first of all. Okay, so you can see on these Nightingale plots, it's simple. Small brands have no fame. The biggest brands are the most famous. You can basically predict, you can accurately state what the current brand shares are in any market just by measuring fame. The one with the biggest fame will be the brand leader. Yeah? The more the fame, the bigger the brand. Fame, by the way, is the sort of consequence of the other two. Feeling and fluency is what generates fame over time. And fame doesn't change very quickly, by the way. Now, feelings are the thing that change quickest, if you like. It's the only one of the F's that can change significantly in a matter of months. Okay, fame will change, but almost we're talking years. And basically, feeling is a predictive, it's a leading indicator. So if you're building feeling, your brand will be growing. If you're losing feeling, your brand will be declining in the next year. So it's a leading indicator of whether you're on the up or on the down. When it comes to fluency is really interesting. It seems to directly link with price, the degree of premium that people are prepared to pay, which doesn't make any rational sense. Just because I recognize something quicker, why would I pay a premium for that? but people do. It seems that the higher your fluency, the higher your distinctiveness, the greater the premium that you can charge for the brand, which obviously has big implications for profitable brand growth. Okay, a case study. Instead of a commercial one, even though this is being built for commercial brands and we use it, I'm going to give you a case study just because it's pretty topical of the election, the US election. Now, we've been using this model, the 3Fs, fame, feeling, and fluency, since last summer. And last autumn, about this time last year, we predicted, using this, that Donald Trump would win the Republican nomination, because you only have to think about it. I mean, he's famous. He may be famous for other things, but he's famous. Love him or hate him, you feel something about the man. Okay, so the feelings are really high. And fluency, he is incredibly distinctive. I mean, the hair, for goodness sake, the crazy kind of statements, and I know that's a slightly European kind of point of view, but I think, there is distinctiveness in abundance, and I'll show you the data in a minute. And so from this model, it was obvious that he was going to secure the Republican nomination, and that was at a time when none of the polls thought that was possible, and basically none, of the pundits thought so either. I mean, my brother-in-law is involved in American politics, and he uttered the immortal words at the end of last summer when we were together, when I was making this prediction. He said, "John, I will give you my house if Donald Trump wins the Republican nomination." So I'm still looking forward to that. We'll hopefully be moving the 6 kids in any day now. Now, let's have a look at what we're actually predicting. This was how the nominations looked earlier this year. So this was before Hillary and Trump had secured the nominations. And it was clear, this is basically what we do is we take the fame, feeling, and fluency, and we put them together into a composite score so that we can say, as a brand, if you like, in this case, whether the person is a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5-star brand. And obviously, the higher the star rating, in commercial terms, the bigger the brand, and in political terms, the more likely to win. So Hillary and Donald were way ahead of any of the other candidates, and indeed, they won the nominations. Now, we're basically tracking feeling on a weekly basis. If anyone's interested enough, you can go to system1, politics.com, and we're going to update it, I think, every Tuesday with the latest feeling data. But I'm going to show you where they are at the moment. So, this is where Hillary and Donald are rating. They are both as famous as each other, and they are almost as famous as it is possible to be. So there's nowhere to go. Donald Trump, though, is significantly more fluent than Hillary. He's much more distinctive. Everything about him, kind of speeds recognition. However, 9 weeks out, this is last week's data, by the time you're listening to this, it may be 8 weeks, but feeling, Hillary has the edge on feeling, and it's changed, by the way, over the last few weeks. She's gained, and Donald Trump has lost. And as a composite score, it brings them absolutely neck and neck at the moment. Can't split them. But remember, fluency doesn't change very fast. Neither does fame. Feeling is the only thing that can change. Now, if Donald Trump can change that feeling, if he can increase his feeling between now and the election, I think he will be the next president of the United States. And if I was making a bet, which in fact I have, that is my personal prediction. The data at the moment has them neck and neck, but I think that's the way it's going to go. Anyway, thought rather than a commercial, because everyone's in different categories, that would be the best example. So the thing about profitable brand growth, brand building, is that system one, the emotional, instinctive, intuitive, thumps system two. And that is true in every category, by the way. And, politics, it's not really about the policies. It really is about how the whole pattern of the person, the party, what they stand for makes you feel, yeah? And how famous they are and how distinctive. And I want to kind of, just for a few minutes, bring this into the world of advertising, because in a way advertising still, whether it be digital or whether it's paid for TV, it's still the way that we build brands. It's still how you make brands famous. And it's been a, kind of obsession of mine to really challenge the conventional way of testing adverts and the model of interpretation that goes with it, which again assumes some sort of equality between the functional message, the rational, persuasive message, and the emotional wrapper, that it comes in, Great advertising, according to the existing kind of ways of measuring, no names, is basically some equal engagement, imparting a message, and making sure people can recall the brand. It's like a sort of triangle. And it sounds so plausible until you start to learn how people really make decisions. Once you do that, you realize that it's really about feeling. The more an advert makes you feel, the more you buy. It's that simple. So we have a model which takes feeling at its core and then measures everything on a 1 to 5 star. And the 5-star ads are the ones that become famous. And we have a website if anyone wants to look at it, but feelmore50.com, which has the best ads around the world in a league table. The one that won last year was a French advert for toilet paper called Le Trèfle. And Le Trèfle was a challenger brand, and it's a brilliant, brilliant ad. There's no French in it, by the way, for those who are worried about the language, but it's beautiful. Or whether it's that ad, or the P&G Thank You Mums, or the Cadbury Gorilla, which was hugely successful in the UK. These are the ads. They're pure emotion, and they are also the most effective and efficient way to build the fame, feeling, and fluency of your brand. If you do message-based advertising, which seems such a plausible reason to advertise, 3-star is the highest you can get. You're limiting your efficiency and your effectiveness to 3 stars. And just to put it into context, this is the distribution of all advertising. This is based on, I think, about 20,000 ads around the world. And you can see it's biased towards 2-star advertising. In fact, over half of all advertising is 1 or 2-star, which, as you can see from the blue figure, will have almost no impact on your brand share. You need to be really achieving 3 stars in order to be increasing your brand share. And when you get to 4 stars or 5 stars, that's when the magic happens. That's when you have the ads that go viral, that become famous, that build your brand and build your brand share. This isn't over weeks, by the way. This is over, a year to 2 years. Famous ads don't sell stuff next week. They build the fame, the feeling, and the fluency, and they build profitable brand growth, sustainable profitable brand growth in the medium to long term. There's a brilliant report. If you haven't read it, I recommend it, from the IPA, which is called The Long and the Short of It, published in 2011. They've just published an update this year, actually, where they showed the creative ads, the sort of emotional creative ads that I'm talking about, are 12 times more effective than basically, and what they're comparing it to is the 3-star ads. Okay, so it's not even the 1-star, but just the basic, less creative ads. So, in summary, the 3 F's of profitable brand growth: fame, feeling, fluency. That's what drives brands. That's what actually matters. And if you are keen to see the 5 things, this is behavioral science distilled into marketing. It's a really short booklet, 1 statement and a cartoon for each one. I promise it's probably the quickest read you've ever had. That's the URL. And I hope you enjoy it. And if it stimulates any questions, you can send me an email at chief.juicer@brainjuicer.com. But I hope that was useful. I hope it was interesting. And it's great to be a part of this.
Thanks, John. That was fantastic. And thanks to all of you for joining today. Tune in for the rest of Experience Week for more great content.